Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-ROC and Big Z.
Welcome, everybody, to the newest edition of the TCSF podcast. This is episode 7. We're starting to become pros at this, don't you think?
A little bit.
Yeah. As always, I'm Big Z. I'm here with E-ROC. What up, E?
What's going on, man?
What do we got going on today, man?
Well, I would definitely say we are professionals. I'll agree with you with that. We have a special guest this week. His name is Tom Geiger. He is the GLENVIEW Stars 19U assistant coach. We'll talk to him about his new position on the GLENVIEW Stars women's hockey team, and he'll provide some analysis to a couple of hockey novices as to what's going on with this Blackhawks playoff run.
Yeah, maybe you can break down what really is offsides, because I have no idea.
But first, let's talk some baseball. This is our newest segment. It's called 3 Up and 3 Down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
All right, we're going to talk about 3 good things and 3 bad things about our favorite baseball teams. First up, Z, what do you got for your White Sox? Give me something to listen to.
Some good nuggets. All right, for the good, Tim freaking Anderson. What a leader. This guy has a bat. He went, 4 for 5, almost had a cycle on his first day back. I mean, he's just a beast. We knew that he was a beast on the defensive side, and this past 2 years, his offensive production has been untouchable on the shortstop. I mean, you can compare him to Javi on the north side, and you can compare him to Tatis right now, who's leading the National League in home runs. You've got an all-star in the making. He should be an all-star, and he should be competing for a batting title pretty soon.
I mean, he's got to be the face of the team at this point.
Oh, yeah, him and Keuchel.
Yeah.
Right, which leads me to point number 2 here. The starting pitching has been pretty good. Giolito and Dallas Keuchel. Giolito's batting average against him is .228, which is pretty good. You know, they're hitting .228 against him, which is really good. And then you got Dallas Keuchel, who's stepped up as the veteran and leader.
Leader this quick from not being on this team very long.
No. And he said, I'm going to call out these players because these guys showed up at Detroit. And yeah, you guys showed up late, but you're professionals. Guess what? Every game counts. It's a 60-game season, and every game counts. You cannot dog it. Yep. There's no way. So when he called out the players, and we'll play the clip right after I finish this little comment here, but Tim Anderson and James McCann, who are the veterans on this team, stood with Dallas Keuchel. Now, here's the issue with that. Some people might say, well, he called everybody out in the media. That's not the truth. He went over to everybody in the locker room, kicked out Renteria and said, I need to talk to the guys. And told everybody to their face, this is what I think, this is the issue, and it's got to be.
Well, he stepped up. He stepped up to the plate and told the guys firsthand to their face, and then he went to the media and said what he said to them. So I give him a lot of respect for that.
That's the correct way to do it. Don't call out your teammates through the media. Tell them to their face.
And you got a guy that won a World Series.
Yeah.
You know,
Cy Young winner and World Series winner.
Granted, the team that he won the World Series with is in a lot of trouble right now. But I mean, like, he's well respected and he's World Series winner. So bringing in a veteran like that, you know, that's the kind of guy that these young guys need.
All right, we'll listen to the clip.
I would have liked to see the team play better tonight, especially after kind of a defeating loss last night with Giolito and Bieber going at it. I mean, we just came out flat, and I feel like we just stayed flat the whole game. We got some guys coming out and taking professional at-bats, being professional on the mound and doing what it takes to win. We got some guys kind of going through the motions, so we need to clean a lot of things up. You know, if we want to be in this thing at the end of the season, we're going to have to start that now.
All right, so like we said, we already covered the clip. You guys heard it firsthand. You can give us your impression. You know, send us an email or a comment on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our new Twitter account. Send us a message. Tell us what you think. Do you agree with him? Do you not agree with him? And then for my third point, my boy Ozzie Guillen. Oh, boy, I love me some Ozzie. I love that post-game and pre-game show. He's over here calling Swisher again.
Yep.
So if you guys didn't hear it, we'll play this clip, and you can decide for yourself.
Talking about Nick Swisher. One day Nick Swisher have a bobblehead thing. Bobblehead day. Nick Swisher bobblehead day.
And he come to Juan Uribe, go, hey, Juan, look at what I got. And Juan, he said, yeah, you see the, outside, I got a statue. I got it, he's myself like this, hitting, catching the ball with the Win the World Series. You don't. How about that one?
I mean, Swisher's over here happy because he got a bobblehead. And I actually have that bobblehead because I went to that game, and I hate Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
So it's just there because I have all White Sox memorabilia.
So he's not the only one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's over here talking to Uribe like, hey, look at me. I got a bobblehead. And Uribe was like, hey, bro, go outside. You see that big old statue? I'm on it. I mean, I love it. I love it.
He was a weird dude.
Oh, my God. No one liked him.
No
one liked him. Towards the end of the season, that season where he was on there on the team, Ozzie wasn't talking to him. A lot of players stopped talking to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to go.
So if that's your good, what's your bad?
My bad. Injuries. The injuries are really plaguing the White Sox. And now we got Tim back, but Lurie's out with the thumb injury. He was pretty hot. He was doing great at shortstop, I'm sorry. Rodon is still hurt. Lopez is still hurt. Madrigal.
You asked for him to be brought up.
And then he gets hurt.
And then they brought him up.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt right away.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's just, bad luck. That's just bad luck for players. Number 2, lineup. I'm old school. I'm old school. If I'm playing, I want to know that I'm going to be playing around the same spot in the lineup day in and day out.
Right.
If I'm number 2 today and then my coach moves me down to number 7, that's going to mess with my psyche there.
This feels very Joe Madden-esque.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are, especially baseball players, they're creatures of habit. So if you're doing one thing one day and then you stop doing it the other day, it gets in your head and you're like, oh, this is why I'm not playing well.
Right.
So now it's now more of a mental thing. And that's harder to fix than the physical. And then 3, run differential. Now, this is going to get a little numberish, but our run differential right now is a -1, which means we've scored 1 run less than we've allowed. Minnesota is +23. The Yankees are +17. Colorado +28. The Dodgers +36. Good Lord.
Your favorite.
Yeah, my second for every team. And then the Dodgers, San Diego's Padres, +19. Now, if you look at all those teams, what do they have in common?
You tell me.
First place.
Yeah. I mean, that's ideally where you want to be, especially in a season like this. Now, don't forget, we do have a lot of teams going to the postseason. You do have.
We do.
You have the first and the second and 2 wild cards.
If our run differential is a -1 and we're going to play Minnesota or the Yankees.
Oh, you're going to get smoked.
Right.
You're going to get smoked.
Because the name of the game is to outscore your opponent.
Right.
And if we can't do that right now during the regular season, you're not going to do that in the playoffs.
Right.
All right. So that wraps it up for me on the south side. So,
I mean, when we look at the Cubs, my first good thing about them is a great record. I mean, right now we're looking at this is Thursday night, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
We literally just watched Darvish, unfortunately, not get the no that he was looking for.
But they got the win. What's important is he got the win.
But you have a great record, and you're beating the teams that you should be beating.
Yes.
Now, granted, you didn't get to play your rivals because, they can't stay at the casino, but you're doing it with both good offense and you're doing it with great starting pitching.
Yes.
You're looking at, like I said, Darvish, Hendricks, Lester, all professionals. Chatwood had that slip up, but
one bad game. That's okay.
He was doing good. And that was the only really bad starting pitching game when they got blown out.
But that's going to happen. Every one of those pitchers is going to have one hiccup, and that's okay.
And we didn't expect much out of him to begin with.
Right.
Number 2 is Kipnis, fitting right in. Chicago kid. He has a 364 average. He slid right into the lineup like he actually belongs with the team. And he only signed a minor league deal, and he's already paying off dividends. And he fits in so well that Rizzo even gave him a hard time about what happened in 2016.
What do you mean he gave him a hard time? I mean, what did he bring up?
Well, you could listen to this real quick.
Put those into words, and there's just always bits and pieces that come back to you. And I've already had Rizzo walking me through where I celebrate here. I celebrate. I'm like, thanks, buddy. I get it.
Come on, really? You're talking about rubbing it in.
You got to do it. I mean, but what that means is that they're true teammates. If you can rib somebody and you can give them a hard time about something like that means that you fit in and you're
exactly.
part
You're
of
accepted.
Team.
Yes, sir.
For number 3, I'll say David Ross. I mean, so far so good. We didn't know what to expect from a guy who won with this team, and he's making it work.
Mm-hmm.
They had a home run contest to hit cardboard cutouts during the Cardinal COVID layoff, which was, we talk about Joe Madden-esque. That was there. But you weren't playing at all. You know, you couldn't play. So what did they do? During practice, they did something silly, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, this is he took a page out of Madden's playbook with doing some kind of team building. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. Yeah, some type of team building that actually does help. As a teacher myself, I do that. Team building, it does build camaraderie, especially when you got a couple new guys in there, make them feel part of the group, and you're doing something silly. Everybody's having fun. It brings a team together.
Right.
David Ross is a catcher. So usually the catcher is the smartest player on the field.
He's the one guy that can see the whole field through the whole game. He's standing right there. And
he's controlling the pitcher. He's controlling the defense. So usually that's the smartest guy. Now you have a real smart guy, a veteran of baseball, who's taken over a veteran team, which he played on. That makes a big difference. He's already got relationships.
But that was the concern, was that, yes, he did have the relationships. Is Rizzo going to pay attention to him? Contreras and him didn't see eye to eye because Contreras thought he should be the man, but Rossi was the man, and they carried him off and all that stuff.
Right.
And that's because Lester wanted him there.
Right.
You know, and that's because Theo had a relationship with him in Boston.
So here's the thing. Who was the voice, the leader on the 2016 Cubs?
Who was the most veteran guy?
Was it David Ross?
Right.
Right. So if you're going to say, oh, are the Cubs going to listen to him? Yeah, they're going to listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, but that was the concern. A guy that you played with, are you going to listen to him? You know what I mean? As a manager.
Right.
It's different when, like, you know, your peers tells you, hey, shape up. And it's different when you're like, dude, you were just one of my buddies. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't talk to me like that. So it's different. When one of your buddies becomes your boss, you know, you kind of mess up there.
But at the same time, how many World Series does he have?
Well, you know, look, he's a winner. We know that, and we hope to continue. I got a couple bad things, though.
Oh.
Kimbrel.
Who?
That guy. Yeah, the guy that used to have a beard. You know, the guy that used to have a beard.
Yeah.
You know, we can't tell what Samson and Delilah. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know where the source of his power was, but like I said before, last time he was really good was in Atlanta, and that's all I want. I don't even want to go any further than that because I am tired.
It's like they put a wanted sign with a picture of him and his beard, and he shaved his beard off so they wouldn't find him.
Since we've always had a problem with closers, we had to go out and get Chapman, then they had Wade Davis, then they went and got your boy from the Dodgers, who never even really saw the field with the Cubs because he was injured the whole time.
My bad.
Hey, what happened?
You got to edit that out.
So, yeah, your boy who was Brandon Morrow, who was injured the whole time.
Right.
Okay. So they were scrambling. They brought in Kimbrel. And this whole time you have not had a closer that made it work. And this is going to be a problem. Okay. Number 2, being stuck in a division with the stupid Cardinals and not being able to play. We're looking at Cardinals record, who is second place right now based on record, and they're like 2-3. And the Cubs are 12-4, 13-4, whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, come on. Can we just kick the Cardinals out already? I'm sick of being, because guess what's happening now? Yeah. It's affecting my team. And who else is it affecting?
It's affecting my team.
It's affecting your team.
I don't want them here if they've got some cases.
Because it's not only affecting them, but it might infect them.
Right.
Right.
And guess who they're playing right after us?
Us again?
Yep.
Great. I can't wait. And that, kick them out already. Just say, you know what, Cardinals? Stay home. Go to the casino all you want. Have your little COVID parties and just leave us alone.
No,
you know,
I agree.
And the one good thing is that the Cubs were able to bounce back and start right back where they left off, and they beat Cleveland, and they scored a bunch of runs in the games that they played against.
Yeah, they played very well.
You know, number 3, KB. It's got to be KB. I mean, you look at what he's done. He's looking at a 196 average for the year, 2 home runs. This is a guy that they almost traded for. And they almost traded
Arenado.
For Arenado.
That would have been a great trade.
100%. And I said that before. That's the guy. I mean, I would have. But he has 4 ribbies, 9 runs just from being on the Cubs.
And was out of the lineup today.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on. You know, what are you supposed to do with this guy?
I don't know, fly his dad in so he can fix his swing again.
let him go play in Vegas again. Maybe he just really wanted to be with Harper and he's still sad about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I will say I did have one kind of 3B, and that was it's not necessarily a bad thing, not a good thing. I don't know what it is. What are they going to do with Q when he comes back?
You got to put him in a bullpen.
You
got to ease him in. Ease him in.
Has he ever been a bullpen guy?
No.
Okay.
Put him in long relief then.
You're going to have to, because that was Chatwood's role.
Right. So they just got 2 guys to switch.
So
you got to see what he has. You can't just put him in a starting role and be like, all right, here you go.
Well, because then what you do is Chatwood. You have 5 starters because Alec Mills has been decent too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't. What are you supposed to do? You got to do something.
You got to put him in long relief. See what he can do for us.
So I'm gonna call you out right now.
Oh boy.
Because you forgot one thing.
Uh-oh.
You forgot one thing.
What did I forget?
Spider-Man. You know who's Spider-Man, bro?
Oh,
Talk to me about Spider-Man.
Eloy.
Yeah, man. He loves that net, bro.
He loves the net. He loves the wall.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I mean, this man is just running all over the place. He needs to. That's why they pulled him out of the lineup the next day. I'm just like, dude.
Let me tell you something. I watched Alfonso Soriano in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
He's terrible.
Oh, he's
bad.
terrible. Yes.
Okay.
Snapping of the glove.
I watched Schwarber in the outfield. Now, I'll be fair because Ideal called me out. Ideal from the All Net podcast called me out and said Schwarber's gotten much better.
He's gotten better.
He's gotten much better than he was.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
But then I saw Eloy in the outfield.
He's bad.
And I says, man.
He's bad.
He makes Schwarber look like an all-star.
He sure does.
It's amazing.
All right. Let's get off this. Man, it's going to make me upset. Make me really upset. But the boy can hit.
Yeah.
All right. The boy can hit. All right. Let's take a pause for the cause, and we'll be right back. We'll talk to our guest today.
Our guest today is Tom Geiger. He is
our hockey guru.
A hockey guru, because we're a couple of novices and we're just really kind of figuring it out.
All right. This is the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast. Stay tuned.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, TCSF, with E-ROC and Big Z. Eddie, let's talk about these Blackhawks, brother.
Well, last episode on our overtime segment, which can be found on YouTube, we talked about what the Hawks had to do in order to advance past the Oilers, which they did.
Right.
I don't think either one of us will sit here and claim to be hockey experts. So what we did was we found a guy that is a hockey expert. Our guest today is going to be Tom Geiger. He's an assistant coach for the 19U GLENVIEW Stars women's hockey team. He was also a JV coach and assistant coach for Notre Dame's high school hockey program. And he joins us today to talk about his new role with the GLENVIEW Stars and give us some analysis on the Blackhawks' current playoff run. What's up, Tom?
Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your hockey background?
Yeah, so, I've been playing since I was a kid. Kind of grew up in Franklin Park, where I kind of met you, Eddie. I'm a coordinator over at the Park District for the Mike program. I also just got finished up with a couple of years at Notre Dame College Prep, coaching the high school level. I've coached travel, house, played a little bit at Illinois State when I was there, and spent some time with the Chicago Steel and their hockey operations, part of their program. And now I'm moving on to some girls hockey because I have a daughter that plays, and I'd like to contribute to the game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have had a couple of coworkers that I worked with that were real big into hockey, and he had a son and a daughter, and the daughter took to the hockey much more than the son. So it's always nice to see like these girls' sports. Another thing I'll say about Tom is that he also helps to coach the Vipers softball teams with me, and kind of the same program there with 8U and 10U and 12U, and so I knew who I wanted to talk to when we started getting to hockey stuff.
Oh, I'm glad we could reach out to an actual expert.
Yeah. We're both sitting here with our Blackhawks hats on, and we saw the end of the game today. This is the Thursday game. So we watched them surprise a lot of people by being able to get past Edmonton. I think.
I think when they played Edmonton, the first couple games, they started fast and hot.
I didn't expect them to get past Edmonton, but this Vegas team, they have a little bit more jam than the Blackhawks do. So they play, a team game, whereas Chicago kind of relies a little heavily on their elite, elite players. Yeah.
So why isn't Kane that effective right now? I mean, he had a pretty good game today, but as far as the Edmonton series, he was pretty absent that game series.
Yeah, that's sport, right? You got your ups and your downs, and that's why the team game becomes such a huge necessity. I mean, Kane had 3 assists today, so I mean he's contributing, some points, he's making plays, but It's just not finding the back of the net for him. And what I think specifically is wrong with the Blackhawks just in general is they've got a lot of offensive talent, and they're just trying to do a little bit too much. On paper, I mean, I think offensively they're the superior team to the Knights, but I think they're just not simplifying enough.
So from a untrained eye and watching the Blackhawks, what I'm seeing when on offense is they're trying to set up a beautiful play instead of, if I'm open and I have a shot, take it.
Exactly.
Does that? I mean, that's what I'm seeing with the naked eye. You guys saw you had somebody coming in on the right side about to to shoot, and then he thinks about it and then passes it into traffic to try to get a perfect pass. And
just doing a little bit too much.
Right.
Over there.
When the Edmonton series, they see an open ice and they're taking shots and putting the pressure back on the goalie. That's what I'm seeing. Go ahead.
Let's put it like this. The 3 goals that the Blackhawks did end up scoring today, they scored within 5 seconds of entering the zone. They scored off the rush. So, I mean, obviously they were entering the zone with numbers. They had good lanes, and they had multiple layers to their entry. And that was throwing the Golden Knights defenseman off, and a quick play to the net. Don't hesitate, throw the puck to the net. Anybody who watches, listens to Eddie O, he says good things happen when you put the puck on net. And I actually got to watch the first period, and there was at least 2 or 3 times Eddie Olczyk call out mentioning that they passed up on a couple prime opportunities to just get the puck to the net. And that's one thing that's missing for them.
It seems like when they're off is that they're on the offensive side trying to score, and it seems like there's 12 guys on the defense because they're trying to set up these plays and they're not going anywhere, and then they have a turnover, and now the other team has numbers and they're putting pressure on Crawford. And our defense isn't that great, but at the same time, if you have a goalie who's barely coming back, is not really I wouldn't say he's back to normal shape and used to taking all these shots against him. Well, I don't think he can stand on his head all day.
Well, because the thing is a lot of people forget that Corey Crawford had COVID.
Right.
And he was coming back in the Edmonton series. He came back, and he really didn't get much ice time. Now, being a goalie, you don't need ice time as much as you did if you were playing offense or defense.
Me personally, I think Crawford is an elite goalie.
Yeah,
I would put him in top 10 for sure. He's a little unorthodox in his style. His mechanics aren't the cleanest, but he is a gamer. I've always said that about him. The one thing that I can tell from him is that, aside from having COVID, he's got awful defense. You're a little kind to them. Their team defense is brutal.
Yeah, I saw that one of the goals that they were moving the Knights were moving the puck around, and they got behind the net, and then the defenseman left. He stopped guarding somebody. He stopped marking him.
Yeah.
And the guy just moved right in front of Corey, and the pass went right in front of him, and he just shot in front of Corey and got the goal. And it's like simple things like that. And Eddie also pointed that out. It's like you cannot leave a guy unmarked in front of the net.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. So it's 3 of the 4 goals that they scored tonight came from the back door, where the team defense, because there was actually 3 guys around the net for all 3 of those goals, got caught puck watching the strong side and left the guy on the doorstep wide open.
Yeah. What I seen was, and I noted this down, was there's 19 goals against in 5 games. That's almost 4 goals a game. I don't think you can win a hockey series when you're getting scored 4 goals against you.
Yep.
Not in playoff hockey.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the series, Crawford had a save percentage below 900. For an elite goalie, you want to be somewhere around the 930 range, roughly. And he was coming in sub 900. That's just not typical for him. And for me, I think he's not necessarily trusting his defense as much. And as a coach, I tell my players when they have trust issues from people not doing their job, listen, you've got to do your job. You start trying to compensate for him. And I think that's what he did on the second goal tonight is he was a little deep in his net. That's why, Nosek was able to bury it under his arm. He was off his angle.
Right. That was that goal that went right between his armpit, right?
Yeah. So that was like a partial 2-on-1. And Nosek was coming up the right side. He was cheating by being deep in his net so he can get over to the other side and cover the pass quicker. And that just left him susceptible to too much net open on him, and he didn't have enough reaction time to stop that puck. Right. It's one he should have had.
So Tom, let's say we insert you and you're the head coach of the Blackhawks. How do you fix this?
Oh man, fixing this.
No pressure.
Honestly, yeah, I'm probably changing the defensemen. I'm probably going to be looking for more guys like Drake Kachula to fill the bottom six for me. One of their big issues, and kind of an issue I have with Bowman a little bit, is that he kind of drafts all the same player and goes for the same player.
Yes.
One of the things that the Blackhawks is lacking is dimension. You know, there's three lines of defense and there's 4 lines of forwards for a reason. You know, every line has to be able to do something different and play a different role and add dimension to your game. There's just not enough sandpaper and grit in this lineup. And I think the first thing I would do is knock on Bowman's door and be like, get me some sandpaper.
It's all finesse.
It is. Yep. It's all finesse.
So let me ask you this: with Robin Leonard being on the Hawks to start the season and getting traded over to Vegas, how much of an advantage does he have? You know, knowing these players and playing with them this season. You
know what? Not as much as they have the advantage on him. I mean, honestly, what it comes down to, where you might find yourself with an advantage, is maybe a breakaway or a one-on-one, knowing someone's tendencies. But with the speed of the game, there's no way any of that really comes into play until it becomes, one person with the goalie, at least in my opinion. What the real advantage is the players knowing exactly what his weaknesses are. So if he's got, a slow glove hand, or a heavy blocker, whatever it is, or if he gets rattled when you shoot up around his head early in the game, all that stuff comes into play, and they've got those notes on him. So it's really more advantage Chicago, in my opinion.
So right now, this is recording on Thursday night. We're already down 0-2. The first game, the Knights just kind of beat the snot out of us a bit, and this last game they took it into overtime and they lost. Now, a lot of the national pundits, you even have PB from
Pat Boyle.
Pat Boyle. Couldn't remember his name right off the bat. Even Pat Boyle says, they're going to get swept. I mean, that's kind of what the consensus was for a lot of guys. I mean, you're talking about basically a team that would not have been in the playoffs if it wasn't for the fact that we had that long break.
Yeah.
Do you think by the time we're going to publish this on Monday, okay, we have 2 back-to-back games this weekend. Is there any way that we're still playing hockey after this weekend?
Honestly, I'm expecting Jonathan Taves to wake up a bit.
Yeah,
he had a good first series, but he hasn't showed up this series.
Yeah, well, he's come in. He's winning a lot of faceoffs, and that's one thing that the Hawks are doing right now, is they've got the advantage on the faceoff so far this series, coming in over 50% in both games. The trick of what they need to do is hopefully they're seeing what, I mean, compared to the guys in the NHL, I wouldn't consider myself an expert like you guys are, but if I can clearly see that, they're getting outshot terribly in both games, that means that Vegas is obviously outpossessing it. So those shots aren't all first chance shots. They've got to be rebounds as well. So that means getting to more loose pucks, and that's all Hart right there.
Yeah.
Getting those loose pucks, and Jonathan Taves is one of the best, if not the best leader in the game today, in my opinion. So I expect him to show up, light some fires, and Patrick Kane is Patrick Kane. I don't expect him to stay quiet. DeBrincat still hasn't scored yet.
Yeah,
he will.
So once there's still a lot of weapons that.
And you had Kubalik go off in the beginning of the last series. The thing is, I think one of the big advantages that the Hawks had last series was the fact that they had all the playoff experience and the Oilers did not. Now you come up against a Vegas team who went to the Cup, did not win, but they were in the Cup, and I mean they were right there. So,
right.
And you're talking about a very new franchise. A franchise that came in and, they got to do their draft, picking whoever they wanted to pick or that was available to them. And, it's not very often when you see a team come into any league. I mean, you look at the Jags, they're still trying to figure it out. And they've been in the league for 20 years now or 25 years or whatever it is.
The closest is probably the Marlins. They
Marlins
won within the first 10 years.
They won and they dismantled
and then
the
they
squad
won again
twice.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, it's not very No. But I mean, it's not very common at all for that to be something that happens. So I mean, I'll say it's impressive what the Knights have been able to do. I mean, aside from the Hawks, like I don't know, for some reason I kind of latched on to him last year, and I was kind of paying attention to him more. I got a buddy that lives out in Vegas, and he was all about yeah. So I mean, like he was all about it. So I was like, all right, man, I got you. So it's impressive what they're being able to do, and I think that's the one thing that the Hawks cannot rest on. Yes, you have the playoff experience, you have the 3 cups for whoever's left from that team, but Vegas has got some vets out there too who have built up their resume as well.
Yeah, I think McPhee did a really nice job with the expansion draft there. You know, you had a bunch of players that were miffed, kind of getting left unprotected by their teams. You know, players that had a lot of jam and some sandpaper to their game and a lot to play for. And they galvanized real quick. So I think that locker room has a ton of chemistry. And some of the pieces that they've added since their first year, I think just, you know, add on top of that. And not only that, they've got an owner there that invests heavily in the team, putting on a great show for their fans and everything. It's real easy to buy in when you got something like that going on.
They have a very similar culture like the Blackhawks do, where, you know, they get the fans involved, the presentation of the team. The city's really bought into having hockey there. I mean, during the national anthem, they yell out Knights.
You also got to consider the fact that this is the first professional team to play in Vegas.
Correct.
And they did a fantastic job of getting the fans involved. I mean, you know, they're getting the Raiders now, but the Raiders were an established team. This was a Vegas team. Hey, Vegas, here's a team for you. And, you know, NHL was smart to get Vegas involved.
Go ahead, Tom.
One quick thing I wanted to touch on that we kind of forget as well, that galvanized that whole city around that hockey team, is that right at the very beginning of that season that they first started, we had that, you know, that Vegas shooting tragedy. That's and the Vegas Strong thing was going on, and that whole city rallied around that team, and it's something that, you know, they still hold. Now that's a tough thing to beat, you know, when you're got a whole city behind you, even though they're playing in Edmonton. You know, right now Hawks fans aren't really too happy, and it's probably a benefit that they're playing away from the United Center for the Hawks.
Tom, my last question before we let you go. Thank you for spending some time with us. How much did the trade when we traded our defensive Eric Gustafsson? I can never say that name.
Oh, Eric Gustafsson.
Yep. Yeah. How much did that hurt the Blackhawks, especially right now during the playoffs?
You know, I don't think it did. Honestly, I mean, like I said, they're stacked up with very similar players. Adam Boquist kind of came in and filled his spot, and he's a very similar player. They're very, very much finesse players, and I'd like to see them bring in maybe some size, a little bit of jam, as I said. Like
a Bufflin? Bringing a Bufflin?
Yes.
Isn't he available right now, or he's going to be available?
He's old as dirt.
You know what? I'm not sure what is going on with him, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if he's semi-retired or what that deal is. So.
Yeah, but don't hockey players usually play till they're about 57 years old?
No, that's just Yager.
Hey, Tom, so we got one last thing I want to do with you here. Here at TCSF Pod, we do a thing called Stirring the Pot. And that's something that's either going to, you know, piss off one or both of us, and we'll kind of argue a little bit. Last couple times we did Stirring the Pot, quite literally, we talked about food. But I have something, especially with these playoffs going on right now, I have an interesting one that is sports related. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the question, and this can apply to any team. Okay.
Sure.
Would you rather this year win the championship, but never ever win another one in your life for that team? Okay. Or make the playoffs for the next 10 years without knowing if you're ever going to win?
Oh, I'll take the 10 years.
Really?
I'll take the 10 years too.
Without knowing.
That's fine. That's fine.
You're saying without knowing, but it is possible.
Right. So we don't know the outcome for 10 years. So I'm going to go with you, Tom, and take those 10 years. I'd rather be the Atlanta Braves than be the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I here's the thing is, and this is just my opinion, the style of hockey that the Blackhawks are are playing and the way that they've built their roster, it's not something that I want to condone. So I don't want them to win with it necessarily. I'll be happy if they do, obviously for the fans and for the team. Any player wants to win it, but yeah, I think they need to redo their roster, and hopefully, if they don't win it, they take a long look at their roster and realize that they need a little bit more dimension to it, and then 10 years of playoffs with hopefully a couple scattered in there, some championship parades. I'll take that.
So here's my question: how many World Series did the Atlanta Braves win? That's, you see I'm making a big fat goose egg.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's a big fat goose egg. So guess what I'm doing? I'm taking the sure thing.
Yeah.
I'm taking the sure thing because I want to see my team win.
I got you.
If I never see the Cubs ever win another title, I got to see one. Or I could just be teased every year. Hey, you guys are great. Oh, man, this is no shot. I am not sitting there getting teased for 10 years. And then by the time, I've seen it too many times. You see these teams that go over and over and over to the playoffs. Look what happened with the Jazz.
Hey, man, I'd rather be Tom Brady and make it to the playoffs every year and have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
But Tom Brady won. That's the difference.
But your question never said that they're not going to win.
And that's true. But I'm guaranteed a title.
Yeah.
I'm taking the guarantee.
I got you.
100%.
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's the whole point. All right, man. So that's Tom Geiger. Hey, thanks so much for coming on. We might be touching base with you again because we're just trying to figure this out. You know what I mean? Like we're kids from the city, so we didn't get a lot of hockey in our lives.
I played floor hockey, and I still don't know what icing is.
It goes on a cake.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, Tom, appreciate it. That's Tom Geiger.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. All right, everyone, that does it this week for TCSF. Thanks to our guest, Tom Geiger, for coming on and talking hockey with us. Shout out to Spider-Man, a.k.a. Eloy.
Spider-Man. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Shout out to Ronesh, Jay Soto. Shout out to Mike Logic and Ideal from the All Net podcast. Hopefully Eloy doesn't get caught up in that podcast. Catch them every other Monday, opposite when ours drops. Check us out on social media. Check out our brand new Twitter. You can find us at True Chi Fans, True CHI Fans. We got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. And reach out to us on our email. We do want to hear from you guys. Reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. Got anything else?
I just want to thank our fans, our support that we're receiving from our fans, and the feedback that we're getting on a weekly basis. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all those who have reached out to my personal email or through Facebook or Instagram or my Twitter. Thank you for supporting us, and we keep improving for your ears, man. You want to be in your ears every week. Or every other week right now.
Let us in.
Let us in.
All right, y'all. All right, for Big Z, this is E-ROC. And until next time, be good to each other for the love of sports.